Hi everyone, teacher and fellow classmates. My name is Bianca Pons, and in this video, I will be showcasing my design activity that I prepared for the adults class. So I'm gonna start presenting the Word document that I worked on to turn in my design yesterday. Um, just a second. I'm going to start sharing now. So this class, okay, I don't think you can see it yet. Wait a second. Oh my God. Hold on a minute. Okay, I think you can see it now. I hope you can. Just making sure. Hold it. Okay. It seems like so. The topics that I will working with are transport and locations, and the name of the activity that I decided to give it is moving around town. This title really involves the practical use of both topics in real life, which is getting from one place to another. Uh, the group we'll be working with, I decided to name it Ever Learners because adult learners really have the willingness and the motivation to learn since they'll be acquiring the knowledge to implement it in their everyday life and maybe in their workplace or maybe in their career if they're college students. As being adults, they're already committed and they really want the people who really wants to learn will take advantage of every situation. So that's what I named the group Ever Learners. The number of participants of this class will be 12 students. I like to work with small groups um, so that they have space and the confidence to interact with one another. And it also gives me the opportunity to resolve any doubts that they have and also share my experiences and whatever I can share with them. The topics, okay, sorry. My group English level is ranging from A1 to A2, sorry, to B1. And these range, I think it is a win-win for both levels, since the students that are A2 level of English will benefit from getting to listen and see the B1 learners. They'll take them as their models, and the B1 will be benefited from the review that they'll get from the A2 topics. So it's a win-win situation, and both parts will be involved with one another. So I think that's really positive for both. The topics, like I mentioned before, are transport and locations, and the particular learning situation is that the Ever Learners group is integrated by adults interested in learning English for particular uses in their lives, with focus on use over structure. The class is set to train learners in everyday situations. The learners are familiar from previous lessons with both transport and locations main vocabulary, so the lesson aims to reinforce what they know and incorporate new vocabulary. The focus of the lesson is to integrate the topics to practice moving around town, which is the name that I named the activity, as I told you before. The skill to practice is communication, since students are interested on the practical use. I decided to focus on that skill, which they'll use in their everyday lives. And I think that skill, it also implies that they'll be practicing their vocabulary and their speaking. So really positive on that note. My role as a teacher will be the facilitator, and their role as students will be the communicator, the active participant, our reflective learner. So these roles really complement each other since they already are independent and they want to, they have the willing to learn. I'll just focus on giving them whatever material is needed for them to build their own knowledge and to interact with one another. So I'll just be the facilitator in this lesson. Well, with this particular group, because it is really important to note that they already have everything to learn. They have the willingness and they have um, the the drive. So yeah, I'll just focus on giving them whatever I can, all the materials, all the activities, all everything they're needed, the instructions as guide every single activity for learning results. I'll also provide good feedback for them to work with. The organization of the class will be the pre-activity, which is the review, the review of the transport and location topics, and we'll be interacting that with a fun and interactive Kahoot. The main activity, which is the practice section of the class, will be building my way, which is the activity that I told you I named, and the post activity, which be production section of the class, and it is simple, but it should not be underestimated since the interaction is where they really get to train on what they are aiming to get, which is the communication competence. So the pre-activity, I'm sorry, I think you can see it there. Reviewing the previous transport and location topics in a fun and interactive Kahoot. So yeah, the duration is 2 minutes. It's a really simple activity. The Kahoot is only 5 questions for them to solve, and the materials will be the Wi-Fi device, the screen to project for me as a teacher, and the teacher's laptop. And this activity is just aiming for set the tone of the class since everything is structured from what they already know, and the instruction that I'll be giving them is to scan with your phones the QR code that you see on screen and type your name to play. The teacher, me, will be interacting and giving the instructions fully in English while acting out the instructions, since the students need to catch the speech to relate it to the intention. So that's just uh, the why I will be speaking in English at all times. Oh, sorry, I have a dog here next to me. So hope he doesn't bark. Well, okay. So that's that, and I'll show you. Oh, I'll show you. Look here. I'm sorry. Okay. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Ya? ¿Quieres salir? ¿No? Okay, there. Sorry. So my Kahoot, okay. So I will be presenting, okay, so here's my Canvas slides. This is the material with the content. I interact with instructions to actually see what we'll be speaking of. And yeah, so this is the breakdown of the class as that I told you before. Okay, one second. ¿Quieres salir? ¿Quieres salir, Santi? ¿Quieres salir, Santi? Me estás interrumpiendo, es la quinta vez que intento grabar esto. No te quieres salir, no te salgas. Pero ya cállate. Sentado, sentado, sentado. God. Sentado, sentado. God. Oh, God. So this Doberman wouldn't let me film. This is my 5th attempt to film this video. Okay, so this is the class breakdown. Whatever I told you already on the Word document, I'm very set Kahoot slide. If I double moment, okay, maybe it is turning. Okay, there. If I double tap it, which I want because it'll take more time. Okay. So this takes me to the Kahoot section, and I won't start playing because me as the facilitator of the Kahoot can't seem to play in the same device that I designed the quiz. But these are the questions. What is not a transport option in the city? And the answers, the possible answers, I think they are a bike, a car, a bus, a train, and the right answer is the boat. And they'll have to relate that the boat is a transport, but it is not meant for the city. So an office is a place you go to have lunch. Of course not. So it is a true or false question. Where can you go have fun? And I think the answer options that I gave here are movies is the right one, and the other ones I think it is a grocery store, an office, and things that are not places meant to have fun. You can have fun in an office, but it's not meant for it. And a bike is the safest transport in town. There is a true or false question. Of course not. A bike is not the safest transport. What is something to keep an eye on while driving? It is another one of the options. And the right answer here is traffic lights. So this is some vocabulary that you'll see. It is not really related to locations or to transport, and we'll be touching on that on the main activity. So this activity is really simple, and it just takes a couple of minutes. Literally, I think I set it for 2 minutes here. I think I did for 2 minutes. Okay, where is it? So just to get the tone of the class, and so the main activity, building my way. I designed this grid on Canva with the transports in red, the locations in blue, and other complements that can be used in the same context in green. This is a way of getting them familiarized with new vocabulary. So yeah, so the idea here, okay, sorry, okay. Students will be provided by the teacher this vocabulary grid to build sentences using a transport in red, location in blue, and a complement in green. This activity gives creative freedom to students to relate vocabulary to their everyday lives. I structure the grid to have the main vocabulary from both topics to give them a handful of opportunities to interact with places that they've been and also that they might not have been, they might not be familiar with, but they're worth knowing. And the instruction that I'll be giving them is to look at the vocabulary grid, these locations and transports we've been studying in class. Use the given vocabulary to build with your way around town and write them down as many sentences as you can come up with using a transport and a location. Write them down in your notebook. I, as a teacher, have to note that using the complements, it's not mandatory, but also I will encourage them to do so since they're, as I said, a complement to enrich the sentences. I'll give them 5 minutes for this activity, and the only materials that they will be needing is the vocabulary grid and their notebook. The vocabulary grid, and in the Canvas slides, I will be presenting these, which is the image that I'll be giving them, hanging them in class. At first, I thought that it might be a good idea have them cut off the paper and arrange it to make the sentences, but I think that is more of a kids or maybe preteens class. For adults, they just need the material to see and to arrange it in their head. I think also they can keep the sheet as a complete product so that they can review it later. So I think it is better to keep it at that and just write down the combination of all the elements here to make the sentences in their notebooks. And I arrange it from 4 colors. I arrange it in colors so that they can distinct one from the main activity. And for the final activity, the post activity, we'll have an interaction in class. The teacher will have the students line up into lines, each line of 6 people, standing in front of each other. The students will tell their partner what they wrote on their notebook. They each get 1 minute per partner, and the teacher will give each minute assigned to rotate so that they end up with different partners and get to interact something else that they've written. The activity, I decided to practice the interaction and the communication skill, the moving around town topic to if they are interacted with one person that they always interact with, maybe a friend or maybe someone that are familiar from the class, maybe they sit beside each other. But the idea here is uh, to encourage them to interact with other people, since that is what they'll be doing in the real world. The instruction here is line up in two lines, and the lines will be like in front of each other. Each one of six people is standing in front of each other. You will tell your partner what you wrote on your notebook. When I clap, you will rotate and speak to a different partner. So it really is convenient for material and for the students, and also has a very good outtake, these activities. I have myself being part of different activities that are interaction oriented, and they're pretty good. They have a good outtake. So the lines, and they'll get each a minute to interact. I'm aiming for 3 or 4 interactions. They're in front of each other, and they will be rotating so that they have a different partner to speak with. And the only material is their notebook to keep their sentences in mind. But they as well could stand up without any of their notes, and perform and produce what they have practiced before. So that is it. Them just so teach, but also both topics that the students have over. And the idea is your location place to another. Is just the vocabulary. So that's that. Time. Yeah. So I'm. Thank you for watching. Bye. Okay. I have to stop sharing the screen first. Um, okay. Sorry for the dog, but I have been trying to film for 2 hours now, and this had been impossible. Okay. Oh my God. Bueno, ahora sí. Bye.